truly, prior to the fight, Dylan Dennis was the main, attention grabber.
It's funny because before I was like, so how does he have time to be on Twitter all this, while he's training? Turns out he wasn't training.
Turns out homie was just playing the game. Welcome to the podcast. The Rift, episode 44. Logan Paul, Jake Paul. We talk about him just about every time in this podcast. I mean, literally, how many videos do we have? Probably 10 videos?
You call us Keemstar at this point, honestly.
I mean, we can call us Keemstar. Drama alert. And Keemstar's, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, that's how they got their career, isn't it? How Keemstar got his career was from Jake Paul. It was basically Jake Paul and FaZe Banks.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
It's funny because we were talking about the other day how Andrew Tate said, his business is the best form of business or media because he can just sit and talk.
Yeah.
Keemstar's got his content just gets made for him.
He's got the best, dude.
If there's good content in the world, he's got good content.
He definitely has the best. He just drama. Literally just create drama, talk about drama. That's it. So I guess that's us too. We're talking about drama. I guess we're not creating it, not yet. We'll eventually though. I actually, some drama right now. The reason why I got my big, it looks almost like a honeycomb cup. Dude, I don't know if I got climate change or what the deal is, but I'm stuffed up. I made cough a few times, and if I do, I'm just going to try to hit one of these or something. I'm under the weather for sure. Not feeling great, but this weekend was the Logan Paul KSI fight. We don't talk about KSI much. Really, and maybe it's because we're Americans, I guess. I don't know. But they fought this weekend. KSI fought Tyson Fury. Logan Paul fought
Tommy Fury.
Oh yeah, Tommy. I would get Tommy and Tyson all mixed up. And then Logan Paul fought Dylan Dennis. We've talked about Dylan Dennis a lot. We never see Tommy Fury and Tyson Fury. I don't think we've talked about them at all. We didn't talk about KSI at all.
That's what I mean. Even leading up to the fight, everyone saw that Dylan was the only one promoting.
Yeah.
KSI and Tommy weren't really promoting.
Yeah.
It was really just, and Logan wasn't either. He was just hiding because he was
really,
embarrassed. Really
and truly, prior to the fight, Dylan Dennis was the main attention grab. He grabbed all the attention. He's up to 1 million followers. When before he even did this thing, he was probably or at least on Twitter. He was 100,000 or something. He had to be less than that probably.
And now, after watching the fight, it's funny because before I was like, so how does he have time to be on Twitter all this, while he's training? Turns out he wasn't training.
Turns out homie was just playing the game.
So I guess he had a lot more time on his hands to promote than KSI or Logan did. But
or Tommy. All of them. Those three guys, you can see why he promoted it so much. Because he wasn't actually training. He wasn't actually fighting. He was just looking on Twitter, and that's it. Just chilling. Which was, I guess, you got to say good for him because, he made his bag. The bad thing is that he didn't just show up. All the talk that he did was all nothing. It was all a lie.
No, his plan definitely was to he knew he wasn't going to win that fight unless he just got a lucky punch or whatever. But I don't think he expected to go in there and make a show and then people at the end be like, "Oh, Logan still lost the war." But it was so bad that everyone turned on him.
No, exactly.
Because it was a waste of
time.
Time and money if you paid for the
fight.
But it was just it was so embarrassing that he had legit no training. He didn't know how to throw a jab. He was doing people who didn't watch the fight. I'm sure you wouldn't be listening to this if you didn't watch that fight, but he was sitting there with his elbow up like that. And he was throwing backhands. That's it's like a UFC thing because UFC, if you get caught by a knuckle, that's gonna still hurt. But with a boxing glove, it's not gonna do anything. That's why Logan was laughing. I'm not a fan of. I'm the farthest thing from a fan of Logan Paul, but he looked a lot he made Dylan look silly that entire night.
Well, Dylan made Dylan look silly. Yeah, because there's at one point where he got down in a grappling position. In guard or whatever, and then he went for the choke on Logan, and he has boxing gloves. So like you can't grip them to choke. Like it was all around just a complete and utter miserable failure in performance for Dylan Dennis, and it was a letdown. I think it was a letdown for a lot of people because the amount of talk that he had was like it's the classic all bark no bite, right? Which no one likes any of that, dude. A lot of the people, what people like is the underdog who doesn't talk and goes out and performs. He's the exact opposite. Maybe underdog, but still.
That's
like,
what I think people like people do like that. I mean, people definitely like more the guy that, even if he's the underdog, but the guy that talks a lot and gets the job done. That's why
Maybe so.
Sugar Sean or McGregor are
true,
popping
true.
because they're so cocky, but they can back it up.
I think, well, I don't know if they like him because look at Prime. So that's the difference. Everybody likes the underdog who doesn't talk and performs, right? That's like Rocky Balboa, right? Like everyone loves Rocky. There's no one that doesn't like Rocky. People that talk a lot go out and still perform. A majority of people like them, but there's a few who don't. Like Coach Prime, talked about him, Deion Sanders, right? At least for the first few weeks of the season, he talked a lot. His team talked a lot, and they went out and they performed. But you didn't like them, right?
No, yeah.
Yeah. And so then it's not everyone likes him. Everyone loves a person who doesn't talk a lot, goes out, performs, gets the job done. Dylan Dennis was not that. It was like, it almost reminded me of like a little chihuahua. You know, those chihuahuas where they're like, you just kick them and they're done. It was like one of those things where you just bark, and you're just like, dude, shut up, just punt the damn thing. It's like the same thing with this, where at that point, once I saw what was going on, like last round, I wanted Logan Paul to knock him out. Like I completely shifted, and I was like, I really didn't care too much about either one of them, but during the fight, it was kind of like, you know, I kind of like, I don't like Nina at all, but I kind of like Logan Paul, and I used to like him a lot. He always says some stuff about religion, which I don't agree with at all. And then he ended up doing a lot of scamming people, whatever. Don't like as much, but also Dylan Dennis, I had no clue who he was, and he was just calling out stuff. Like, I still don't know much about him. And
yeah, that's what, at the end of the fight, I definitely wasn't, like, best case scenario for me didn't matter from the first round to the last second was somehow Dylan lands a punch and knocks out Logan. I thought that would have been hilarious. I still didn't want Logan to knock him out. I didn't like Dylan by the end of the fight. I liked him a lot less, but I still didn't want Logan to have the accolade of knocking someone out.
That's true.
And having the clip just because his head's already big enough. So I wanted him to know that at how bad Dylan was, he still couldn't knock him out. I still wanted him to know that. But the funny thing was even the announcers, like,
dude, they were on their head.
Yeah, we were watching it with like 5 or 6 of our friends, and all of us were like, this fight is like terrible. So the announcers knew it, everybody watching it knew it, and we're like, well, at least we have the KSI Tommy Fury fight next. It was less entertaining than the Logan Paul Dylan Dennis fight. Like, how is that even possible?
I mean, unfortunately, I think that's boxing, dude. I think UFC and the way Dana White created and is like promoting UFC, I think has just diminished any other combat sport that's out there. Like, there's nothing going to be more entertaining than that. If you want someone to get knocked out, to see blood, if you want someone to be like 1 versus 1, and you want to fight to the death, that's in the ring.
Yeah, the boxing would be the octagon. The ring is boxing. Oh. But, like...
Octagon.
Yeah.
The ring
but that's like, it is boxing. Like, boxing's definitely not as entertaining as UFC, but what they did, that was not boxing. Like, that was even like every pro boxer, every UFC fighter, they're tweeting, they're like, never let those guys in the ring again. Like, that was an embarrassment to the sport. Because even recently, I really don't watch boxing a lot, but I watch like the big ones. So I watched the Ryan Garcia and what was his name, Tank. I can't remember his role. Like
Frank.
No, not Frank the Tank. His nickname, I can't remember his name, but I watched that one, and like even then, like they'd lock up and hug sometimes, and like you get annoyed.
Yeah.
at the end of the fight, you don't think about him hugging because it happened a few times. At the end of that fight, all you think about all it was hugs.
That's it.
Like there's memes.
And that's why,
like,
dude. Even at the end, the winner, whenever they announced the winner, we were confused. We were like, wait. Was that? And I think it's because we didn't know, like, was there even, like, punches land? Like, did any of them land at all? Or was it just, like, a hug fest? So it seemed like where KSI just kept on hugging and hugging and hugging and hugging and hugging. And it was like, dude, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I saw the numbers for the punches and stuff. And another thing, I was completely 100% rooting for Tommy Fury. I don't like KSI.
Yeah, I was too.
I did not want KSI to win because he already has.
He walked out, and like I said, when you see him, it looks like CGI. When he was walking out into
Tommy.
the ring, Tommy, he looked like CGI. He looked like one of those, you know how now they're doing those IVF deals where you can like craft it, you can like pick the eye color, and you can start manipulating like the baby before it's even born yet. He's one of those that happened like 30 years ago. That just like they genetically modified to make the perfect human, and that's this guy that was walking out. I've never seen him before until this fight, and was like, "That's who I'm going for. I don't need the old Mega Mind over there. Go for Tommy Fury on that."
Yeah, no, we were with all our friends, and all of our guys had a man crush on Tommy. They didn't know what he looked like, so I was completely rooting for Tommy, and the whole fight, KSI is just like he's just winning, like he is. He's the only one like. He's actually hitting some punches.
Is he hugging?
He is, but you don't lose points. Like, you can lose points for hugging. Like if the ref like calls it out and you lose points, but he never called it out. So as much as he was hugging, he shouldn't have lost points for that because the ref never indicated it. Okay. So, and other than that, the punches landed. I think KSI had like 37 punches landed, and then Tommy Fury had 12 punches landed. Oh. But Tommy Fury threw like 5 more total punches, but he had that many less. So usually you want to have more thrown and more landed, but the landed is always the one that matters more.
Yeah.
So Tommy had more thrown, but KSI had triple landed. So like it was obvious who won in that. So we were all kind of like, we were just like hoping for a draw, and Tommy lost a point for hitting him in the back of the head. So at that point, in a 6-round fight, when you lose a round or lose a point like that, it's basically a whole round, if not more. So, like at that point, he was pretty much screwed. Like I wasn't as knowledgeable as I am even a day after because I've read some more stuff on it. But at that point, I was 90% sure KSI won the fight, and maybe 10% that could have been a draw. And at that point, I'd still say KSI was scammed. It was a draw. Yeah. So they're announcing it, right? And first judge comes up, counts it 57-57 draw. And that's I bet you haven't seen that yet either. But and then the other 2 judges are unanimous. They're like and the winner, and we're like, oh damn, it's not a draw. And he's like Tommy Fury. And we're like, whoa, what? We're like, no way. We start going crazy. But so I saw a tweet. It said that the first judge who scored it a draw actually miscounted his card, and he had Tommy winning too. So Tommy was actually the unanimous winner, not split decision.
Is it because of his fighting style? Like, I don't know. They judge. So I know like a judge for gymnastics or a judge for ballerina or a judge, like those judges, like a judge who judges dogs, right? It's like the form, right? The form of the flips and then lands, or the form, right? So usually judging is like on overall performance. Is that the same in boxing?
I would say it's not, but I think it.
Like, what do they
it's not supposed to be, is what I'd say. But what I think happened really is, like, because even me watching a fight, like, I wouldn't say I'm a, what do you call it, like a fight expert by any means. But I've been watching more and more, so I'm starting to get like, I'm starting to be able to know like who's winning and losing a fight pretty well. And I completely lost my train of thought. What were we saying before that?
You said, who's the judge? Like, how they
Oh, yeah. So as I'm watching the fight, I know that KSI is winning by his, like, how many he's landed, but I'm mad that he's winning because I can see that Tommy's the better boxer. Like, by his, like, how KSI was making not a boxing match. How he charged in.
Homie had his arms all the way down. He's, like, loose and
shit. The fly things. So
exactly.
So, like, he was winning but by making it not a boxing match.
Yeah.
So I think the judges, like notice that like this guy's terrible. He's just getting lucky because he's like confusing him. So like they shouldn't have gave it to him, but I think in their heads like it was kind of making him mad. Like, so to me, I'm happy. Like I was pumped that Tommy won, even though I was like
You're like, oh.
KSI got scammed, even though I wanted him to lose.
No,
So,
exactly.
I
Like
don't know.
when you break it down, you can very easily tell who's the boxer and who's not.
Yeah.
In the ring, like you knew who just by form alone, whatever it was. And KSI just kept on tackling him. Basically,
Yeah.
it was just like, dude, like let him go. And so the fight ended up overall. The night was interesting to say the least. I guess all of those fights, you're not going to leave like unentertained.
Yeah.
Just talking about it and like maybe the status behind the two. Like when you get two of those guys with as many followers as they have, like you're automatically it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah,
Right? No
because
matter
it's
what.
entertaining that it wasn't entertaining.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's news
Yeah.
because it was so bad.
Yeah,
and they're
exactly.
that big of people.
Yeah, so no matter what, you're still going to get some sort of value from it. Is it $60 value if you're sitting by yourself? No, it was not. And so what is it? I don't know. Are we going to watch the next fight with KSI and someone else? I won't. If it's...
I don't know, if it's KSI and Jake Paul, they've been building
Jake
that
Paul.
one up like that one just has to happen.
That's what I was going to say. Jake Paul, on the other hand, he is a real boxer. We went and watched him in person here, and that was like a fun fight. It was a fun event, and we were in there, but I imagine even on the TV, like every time I watch Jake Paul fight, I'm like, oh, dude, this guy's a boxer.
Yeah.
Like he's not just a guy who's getting paid to get in the ring, right? He's actually going in there and actually competing. Like you could tell he wants to make it. He wants to be like a boxer. Mm-hmm. He wants to be in the sport and wants to be recognized in the sport. Whereas I think Logan Paul just wants a bag, just like always. I think KSI just wants a bag, doesn't really care. Jake really wants to be a good fighter.
Yeah.
Which
I was thinking about it, and like KSI, I think he really wants the bag, but I think KSI also really just wants to win, while Jake wants to, because I think KSI, like that tactic where he's flailing his arms,
yeah, that's your facts.
His coach, whatever, there's no way, he knew that's not good for boxing, but he knew it'd be good to get the win for that fight.
Yeah.
So I think KSI is big on just like winning this fight, but that's why Jake lost to Tommy Fury when KSI almost won, if not won.
Yeah.
Is because he was like, Jake Paul was fighting him like a boxer, so he was basically just an amateur going against a pro, while KSI was just wild going against a pro, and the pro didn't know how to react.
Yeah.
So like Jake has more respect to me because he fought him like a real boxing
Jake
match.
had way more respect than all of those guys, 100%. And that's where they asked at the end, or Tommy, they asked him if he was going to be, like if he's going to fight again.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like confused as hell whenever he finished his answer. But I think
Everybody was.
I think he kind of said that he was going to fight Jake Paul, right?
He said, I'm done with this whole influencer boxing. He's like going on to bigger things. He's like, I'm done with the bullshit. And he's like, but any other Paul that wants it, you can get it, whatever. And I was like, and Jake Paul even tweeted about it. He's like, he quoted, any Paul that wants it can get it. Or he said, I'm done with this bullshit. Any Paul that wants it can get it. And he's like, make up your mind. He's like, we know you can't run away from the bag or something like that.
Yeah.
So like, because Jake definitely wants a rematch just to get that off of his record, get the loss. But I want to see Jake Paul versus KSI. Oh, and that was the other thing. KSI, he put up an appeal for the fight to get it overturned.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how long that takes.
That do?
Because Logan Paul put an appeal for the KSI fight whenever he lost for punching him in the back of the head when he was down.
Yeah.
Remember, I think it was like a few weeks or maybe even months before.
Didn't it come back a tie or something?
No, it came back. He still lost.
Yeah. I mean, once you make the decision, it's kind of like, dude, like, what are we?
Yeah, like KSI's going to tweet in a month and be like, I actually won.
Yeah, I actually won.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's changed everything. No, it didn't. So, I mean, the stuff's already done. I would just be like, dude, move on.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? But I don't know. It was an interesting weekend for the fighting world. Interesting weekend for the all social media world and entertainment. It's still cool. It's still cool to watch and see like all this stuff coming from YouTube, coming from like a non-media platform, like just individuals going out and creating their own stuff. And that's what we're trying to do. This podcast with our YouTube videos, we're here every Monday and Friday. We'll continue to be here and continue to grow and hopefully expand to a point to where we get this thing going. And then you actually are listening to what I'm saying right now, right? If you are, go ahead, leave us a comment, let us know that you're still here. Otherwise, everyone else, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you. As always, watching, joining, viewing. Catch you in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.